Welcome back to the Mookie Chilson channel, and you are looking live at the Pinhole Holy Grail Wall of Fame for what promises to be an explosive episode with twists and turns, celebrities and special guest stars galore. So you will want to buckle your seatbelts and strap in for this ride because it's going to be incredible. And it all begins with Roberto Clemente, the two cards you see in front of you. You may recall these from previous videos. This is my 1972 with the two pins at the top and some holes at the bottom. And you've got the 1965 Roberto Clemente with the staples at the top. These are two members of the permanent collection of the Mookie Chilson Holy Grail Wall of Fame. But I'm always interested in anything vintage, and Roberto Clemente is one of those obvious superstars of vintage baseball collecting. And one of the people who is one of his greatest evangelists on YouTube is Theo, the Clemente collector. And he put out this video the other day called Affordable Roberto Clemente Topps Base Cards - Must Buy! And when he uses an exclamation point, you better click on the video because it means he's got something to say. And what he did in those videos, he shared sort of, if you're thinking of getting into a player run or player collecting Roberto Clemente, these are some affordable options towards the end of his career for base cards that you could get for probably less than you might expect. And the one card that really got my attention that I did not have was the 1973 Topps number 50. And he described what you can get that for in a lower grade. And I knew that was Roberto's last card, and I did a little bit of digging around after Theo's hearty recommendation, and it turns out that card came out after Roberto Clemente died. Roberto Clemente died, of course, on New Year's Eve 1972. This card was distributed in packs in the spring of 1973. So this was, for anybody who was a Roberto Clemente fan, a baseball fan, a somber memento of what that card and what that player meant to them. And so I had to get that card. And I wrote that in a comment to Theo in his video. And of course, Theo, being one of the most generous, kind, and welcoming collectors on YouTube, said, "Hey, I have an extra one. Why don't you email me and I'll send it to you?" And I was blown away. What a generous offer, the kind of offer I could not refuse. And so I gladly accepted when I saw his comment there the next morning. And so that's the package that you see in front of you there. And so I'm going to open it up right in front of you on camera. I have given it a little starter push with the scissors here. These are my blue sparkle scissors that are my favorite. They're the scissors of choice at the Mookie Chilson World Headquarters. And so I'm going to open this package with you. Oh boy. Of course, Theo has done it. Oh boy. And Theo writes, I will read this to you. Mookie, love your channel. Happy to meet guys like you. I wanted to give you my childhood Mets cards. Unfortunately, not a lot of great Mets in the 90s. Enjoy and no video needed. Well, too late, Theo. So we're getting that. So there we go. That's from Theo. So here we go. Of course, the top of this is a very, very relevant card for when I'm recording this. This is the Bobby Bonilla card, a great Met and Pirate. You may recall Hubie Brooks, who the Mets traded for Gary Carter and then got back later on after that. Rico Brogna, number 26 for the Mets. Darryl Boston, I believe he was number 8. He took number 8. Oh, Charlie O'Brien, who was Dwight Gooden's personal catcher at one point. There's home plate umpire Eric Gregg standing behind him. Jeremy Burnitz, who was going to be a great slugger for the New York Mets at one point. He left and came back. He's wearing Greg Jeffries number 9. Vince Coleman, oh my God, this guy used to torch the Mets in the 80s and then came to play for the Mets and continued to torch the Mets by playing for the Mets this time. So there you go. Mark Carrion, he had at one point the record for pinch hit home runs, I think all time, or maybe it was for the Mets, but Mark Carrion was a great Met for a little while there. Chuck Carr, another prospect that didn't, oh, look at this, there's the kid, Gary Carter, 1988. Kevin Elster, number 21 there. He was on the 86 Mets roster. John Franco, who the Mets traded Randy Myers for. Look at that, El Cid, the kid from Hawaii, number 50. He wore number 50 because he was from Hawaii and paid homage to the 50th state, Hawaii. So I love Sid Fernandez. There's Go Johnny Go again. Todd Hundley, oh my God. There was a time there where Todd Hundley was the greatest slugging catcher in baseball. Hit 41 home runs, I believe, in, I forget what year it was, 96, 97. Tagging out, who's he tagging out there? I don't know. Another Todd Hundley. This is unbelievable. Mike Hampton. Oh my God. So Mike Hampton, you may or may not know as a non-Met fan, so let me clue you in. Mike Hampton was traded for by the Mets. They went to the World Series. Mike Hampton actually pitched really well, and then he left in free agency. And when he left and signed a massive deal with the Colorado Rockies, the Mets got a draft pick. They got a draft pick in between the first and second rounds, and they used that draft pick to take Mets icon David Wright. So Mike Hampton turned into David Wright. So thank you, Mike Hampton. And then there's Jeff Innes. He was a sidewinding right-handed relief pitcher. Unbelievable. Oh my God, this guy. Theo. I'm going to go through all of them, Theo. I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it. Dr. K, unbelievable. Oh, there's Greg Jeffries. This would have been big money back in the day. Hojo. Greg Jeffries. Who is that? Wait a minute. I don't even know this guy. Takashi Kashiwada. Oh my God. Dave Magadan. Dave Magadan came up in 1986 to play for Keith Hernandez for a little while there. Keith Miller, Kevin McReynolds, Super Joe McEwing, one of my favorites. He was a super utility guy who played all over the place. I can't believe you're giving me these cards, Theo. This is amazing. Kevin McReynolds, Alejandro Pena, number 26. Bill Pulsifer, Generation K. He should have been one of the great Met lefties of all time. Jason Phillips, catcher. Bill Pacoda, who sabermetricians and people who follow that stuff know. The Pacoda average is named after Bill Pacoda. Dan Schatzter, I don't remember him. Dick Schofield, I forgot he was a Met. Dick Schofield. Brett Saberhagen, did not forget he was a Met. Took Darrell's number. Brett Saberhagen. Noah Syndergaard, there he is. Thor himself. Unbelievable. Pete Shorrock, a great lefty. I think he was number 48 before DeGrom. Pete Smith. David Segui, he was a great first baseman for a little bit there. Oh, Darrell on the Dodgers. And Ty Wigington, who the Mets would eventually trade to the Baltimore Orioles. What an unbelievable treasure trove of New York Mets baseball cards. And then here it is. I can't believe it. Theo has so generously given me this 1973 Roberto Clemente, his last card. I'm going to take it out of the case if you don't mind, Theo. Look at that. Beautiful. I love it. I just love it. So if you were a collector of Roberto Clemente or a fan of the Pirates or the player himself, this was the last time you would ever see him on a piece of cardboard. Look at that card. And of course, one of the great things about that card is that is Mets catcher Jerry Grody there. I believe it's a spring training photo, and on the back of the card, because there's magic on the back of the card does not mention Roberto Clemente's death. It just mentions that he got his 3,000th hit at the very end of 1972, which is what a way to remember him. I think that means this card was probably printed before his untimely demise. So unbelievable. I'm blown away. I'm going to take this down here and put this up. So there you have it. Now I have a confession to make, Theo. Are you ready? Here's a dramatic revelation that I have to share with you. After I saw your video and was so moved by your description of the 1973 Topps Roberto Clemente card, I did a search on eBay. And I did it. The search was Roberto Clemente 1973 with a hole. And I found one. And this was sent to me. The same day I got your care package, I got this card in the mail. I couldn't help myself, but I bought this card before your incredibly generous offer. And there it is. It's got a hole in it. And so now I have two of these. One of these is gifted to me by the great Theo Clemente collector. And one of them is a pinhole card that I bought immediately after I saw your video. So what do I do now? How do I make it so that the Theo card is just as incredibly displayed as the pinhole card? Because I love them now both equally. One of them is from the Theo collection. One is a pinhole card that will go up on my wall. And so I decided what I would do is I would get the Theo card graded. And the good news is the grade is already in. And I created this grade. This is a Clemente collector exclusive. It's an authentic, the Theo collection. He gave it to me. And I'm going to now encase this card. See if I can do this properly. You only get one shot. I have to do this right. And there you have it. So now it's a little bit off center, right to left. But now I have two incredible 1973 Topps Roberto Clemente cards. One courtesy of eBay after I saw Theo's video, and one from Theo himself, which means more than I could tell you, including all of these amazing New York Mets baseball cards, which I will treasure forever. So thank you, Theo. Thank you for this awesome experience. Thank you for being such a generous, kind, warm, and funny guy on YouTube. You make me smile with every video you do, and I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you, and I hope you're not mad that I got two, because yours means much more to me than the other. Thank you.